So here's how the story goes. So last year in year 11, when everyone used to stress out about math tests and whatnot, and every time we had a math test, it would be like the end of the world for everyone. I, however, was one of those people that was like, I'm gonna do bad anyway, right? So I'm just not gonna study for it. Then at the end of the year, I got a 2 in math, which some would characterize as a failure. I, however, saw it as an achievement. Welcome to Turn Up, guys.
Welcome to Turn Up.
You're listening to AIC Radio Podcast with Eugene and Kathy.
Alright guys, welcome to Turn Up. This week our letter is F, so our topic is failure.
Failure.
And to go along with this topic, we have a guest with us, Michelle Kirby-Kin.
Go along with the topic?
I mean, what? So guys, what's failure? And I'm not talking about what's failure to you, I mean what's the actual dictionary definition of failure.
According to the dictionary, it's the act or an instance of failing. Okay, because I was always told you shouldn't use the word.
Thank you.
When defining
You
it.
know it's a bad definition when they use the word in the definition.
A person or thing that is unsuccessful or disappointing.
I feel that this is more in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
Like, this is kind of like, because failure is so in the eye of the beholder that it's what failure means to you. And I feel like unsuccessful something or disappointing something, you know, they're like, disappointment is like an emotion.
Right.
And so it's in the eye of the beholder. Unless you have like written up goals.
Right.
And then also it says like a non-performance of something that is required or expected.
It's a very subjective thing.
Yeah, definitely.
An insufficiency or shortage.
Eco!
I don't really agree with this definition.
Why?
Well, you know, failure, how you define it is a very subjective thing, and
Right.
yeah, and in my opinion, it doesn't make sense.
Well, failure to produce enough is a shortage, essentially. So, I mean, failure to produce
Market
enough.
failure.
Oh! Surplus and shortage.
The fact of not reaching the required standard in an examination, test, or course.
Definitely.
Eye of the beholder. There we go.
Right.
What's a fail to you might not be a fail to me.
Right.
Hashtag my 2 in math.
Right. I mean, the thing is, it says non-performance of something required or expected. Life is so unexpected. How do you...
Fair enough. We have a few different types of failure here for you. First one, failure to prioritize, which I feel like comes out a lot in IB.
Yeah.
Many bad decisions have come from our lack of perspective on the importance of one thing over another. The key learning here is to fully grasp the concept of opportunity cost, the cost of not doing something in favor of something else. Failure is so eco, I can't even.
So, do you have any examples of failing to prioritize?
You know when you have a math test, but you also have like a history test,
Right.
and then you only study for the math test because, you know, it's history?
Right.
That.
What's wrong about history?
Nothing. I mean, I love history. I don't take history, but... Y'all both take history, you should know what I mean.
Turn Up Podcast with Eugene and Kathy.
So have you ever come across a situation where you think it will only take 10 minutes to do something, but you end up taking like 10 hours or...
Definitely.
10 hours.
Like, I feel like,
It's
once
too
again,
extreme.
bring this back to the eco IA.
Right.
You know, you're like, oh, this will be done in like
Right.
half an hour, all good, and then you're 2 days later and you're still
Right.
crying.
I think there's a reason why the teachers give us assignments a few weeks prior to the deadline.
Because they know that we will procrastinate.
Right.
I feel like this is a shout out and a pre-warning for EE,
Right.
guys. Failure to decide. This is like when you can't make a decision, even though, you know, I think it's the whole opportunity cost thing, but yeah, like you can't decide and you need 100% information to make the decision, and then after you have the 100% information, you still can't make the decision.
Which, by the way, you will never achieve the 100%
Exactly.
information.
But I feel like I only have this problem in minor things. You know, when they say, like, pick your major, I'm just like, whatever, man. You know, let's do this. But then, like, when they're like, what do you want to eat for lunch? I'm like, oh, no.
That's what happens when I go shopping with my mom.
Oh.
She wears, like, 20 different things. She returns to the first one and she says, I think this is the best one. And I'm just lying on the sofa there.
Trying out podcast with Eugene and Kathy.
Failure to trust. Like, I have a personal thing for this.
Alright.
I uphold loyalty as like the highest attribute.
I see that.
Just that's my personal worldview.
Right.
And in order to have loyalty, trust is, it's
Paramount.
essential.
Yeah.
Have you ever had instances of failing to trust?
You know
I
how?
know I have.
Yeah, and I feel like trust is one of those things. It really needs to be built upon, and
Right.
if it's broken, then
It's
failure to
hard.
trust is
Right.
without a doubt.
Right.
Because trust is such a gradual thing that if someone just breaks it like it's nothing, it's like, well, okay, I made a mistake with them.
Right.
Or you tell someone something and you regret telling them that.
Right.
Or you have that deep sense of like, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
So deep.
So this is an interesting question. So do you think people around you trust you?
I'd like to think so.
Same.
I feel like you've got to have a certain amount of trust in everyone, but you don't have to trust them all for the same thing.
Right.
So, for example, there'll be that person that you tell like all of your like academic things to, and you're just like, I feel like I'm having a lot of trouble in this subject, and I got this on my mark, and I got this for a score, and that person won't tell anyone. You trust that person that they won't tell anyone, because And then there are people who you go to for like other things, like family problems, like friend problems, And if you're lucky, you might have someone who you go to all this for. But I feel like everyone has a certain degree of trust in someone else,
Right.
Even if it's just like an acquaintance. Do you think your parents trust you?
I think my parents, I think they trust me.
Oh, nice. Eugene in the good books.
I think they trust me.
When have you ever betrayed someone's trust? I don't remember it because I don't like to think about that.
Right.
Well, how do you know if you betrayed someone or not?
I think you'll know. I think betraying someone's trust is a conscious decision.
Like lying?
No, not necessarily, but it can be like, I feel like lying can be good in a sense,
Right.
but breaking someone's trust, like telling someone else something that you shouldn't have told, because someone who trusts you told you that.
Right.
So, that's essentially how gossip spreads.
Yeah.
Gossip and rumors, because someone said something that they shouldn't have, and then other people take it a different way. But I feel like, if you are in that situation where you have accidentally betrayed someone's trust, you should do your best to try and fix it.
Right.
To try and at least make sure that that person that you've told hasn't misunderstood.
Right.
Because you could say something and someone will take it a completely different way. And then when they go tell someone else, the story changes gradually and gradually.
Right.
So I feel like that's really important. You need to at least clarify.
Trying out podcast with Eugene and Kathy.
Failure to disagree. I think this is relatable. I think some people, they have a tendency to agree to every single thing.
To make people like them.
Right. Or they're intrinsically just incapable of disagreeing with things.
People.
Yeah.
But I think, if you don't like something, you have to say no. No means no.
I feel like we have a lot of problems with that here with cats.
Right.
Like people are like, if you ask someone, you ask your mate to do some casting, they're like, and you can't really say no, so you can't, okay, and then, it just keeps on building up and up and up.
So is this how this club started?
Oh!
I said no to you.
Oh yeah.
No
failure to disagree there.
And I think this is a big cause of failing to trust, breaking trust. Suddenly you have all these things going on.
Right.
By failing to disagree to some of the offers that your friends give you.
Mm-hmm.
And you fail to meet their expectations, which always results badly.
So, why are people afraid to fail? I think failure gets a really bad stigma. Like, failure doesn't always have to be negative. It's a learning experience.
Right.
True.
I think, people perceive it very cynically. And, I don't want to make unrealistic statements here that failure will only make you succeed. Failure, it brings disappointment, and it stings. It hurts. I've experienced this. I'm pretty sure we've all experienced this. It hurts. But I think the important thing is the way you interpret it and the way you try to change things. That's what makes the difference. When you fail, you accept your misfortunes, you try to set things right, and I think that really leads to creativity and profound reinvention.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that outlook on life, like, if you have that outlook, every time you fail, when people fail, they get sad,
Right.
they go and get a tub of their favorite ice cream and they sit and cry in front of their favorite episode of whatever they watch, right? But if you have a positive outlook on it,
Right.
it makes you a positive person,
Right.
a fuller person, because you know, okay, that's one way I can't do it.
Right.
Now I'm going to find the way I can do it.
Nietzsche famously said, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh, I love that.
Now, the thing is, pertaining to AIC students who are very ambitious and very achieving, whatever doesn't kill you may make you stronger, but it may almost kill you. But I think, like Happy said, maintaining that positive outlook, that optimistic vision, it's important, especially in today's world, where there's so many negative things going on. People are just saying, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. I think it's important to just
I think I
Right,
can. I
right,
know I can.
right.
Because, at the end of the day, the biggest hurdle is yourself.
Right.
The only thing that's stopping you is yourself.
Right.
Turn Out Podcast with Eugene and Kathy.
And now it's time for our extra whatnots of the day. So we have our first phobia that actually relates to our topic. I can't say that. Eugene?
Acticophobia.
A fear of failure. Okay, let's just read the symptoms.
Yeah.
Okay, so signs that you have a tachyphobia: irregular heartbeat, shortness of breath, rapid breathing, nausea, overall feeling of dread, nervousness, stomach disorder, flushing of the face, perspiration, sweating, muscle tension, and faintness.
That's me right now.
That's me. I think everyone has this.
To an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're passing out and spewing before a test, then you probably really
That's
have
a pretty
it.
extreme case.
Yeah.
I think.
Everyone has that, just feeling of dread at the bottom of
Right,
your stomach
right.
when
The
you have a
moment
test.
before your IOC, I guess.
IOC, oh no. Or like, when we have a big bio contest in the hall,
Right.
and it's just like, ugh. And then you
Not to
forget your
mention
calculator, and then,
Math.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like everyone has this to an extent, unless you are Superman.
Right.
Yeah, SAT word of the day.
Fecund. Is that how you say it?
I think
Pretty
so.
sure.
Fecund.
Fecund.
Fertile and productive.
Yay!
That's an easy definition.
Wow.
That fecund mother rabbit gave birth to hundreds and hundreds of little rabbits.
Wait, is this biologically possible?
Yeah.
Hundreds and
But
hundreds.
don't they give birth en masse?
Like, but how many?
Rabbits.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you know they say, that saying, breeding like rabbits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it means that, like, because rabbits have a big litter,
Oh.
because a lot of rabbits die.
Wow,
So it's
I
like
didn't
a
know that.
adaptation. They have
I'm
lots
sure
of
it's
lots of little puffballs of cuteness.
They're cute.
And our artist of the day is a personal favorite, Far East Movement,
Yeah.
because they are they.
Okay.
They're so good. They're a rap group, American, but they're like Asian American.
Yeah.
It's a quartet, and they're based in Los Angeles. I think they're under Cherry Tree Radio. Cherry Tree, yeah, that's their production company. Cherry Tree.
Okay.
So the four of them, they formed in 2003, and they consist of Kevnish, Progress, Jay Spliff, and DJ Vermin. Whoa, they got cool names.
Unique names.
DJ Berman.
Have you ever heard The Illest by them?
No.
Oh, that's a song to listen to. It's on their new album, Dirty Bass. It's so good.
Okay.
Their whole album is good.
I remember them from Fast and the Furious.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift, yeah.
I only remember that one song by the Teriyaki Boys.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It's my favorite song.
I remember that one, yeah.
Alright, now time for the credits. We would like to thank our awesome scriptwriters,
Helena and Bridget.
Zhang and Wilson. Our CEO, Big Boss Lady, head director in charge, CEO.
Okay.
Ran out of words. Ma
Thank
Shi
you.
or Kim.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Alright guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, favorite, be cool, party.
Listen.
Like our Facebook page.
Like our posts because we
Yeah,
cry.
please, like our posts.
makes
like
us
our
sad.
posts.
You know, Facebook tells us how many people see the post, and it's just
Oh,
sad.
it's-
How many
Yeah.
people see it,
Yeah.
and how many people like it or comment on it? None. Alright, good day, good night, good eve, good morrow, and don't forget to...
Turn up.
You're listening to AAC Radio Podcast with Eugene and Cappy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about history class.
I feel high right now. I feel high.